Well, it's Monday. That's right, folks. It's Monday, beginning of the week. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. If you do hear noise in the background, the air units are working a little overtime. It happens to be somewhat of a heat wave where we are at on the East Coast. Hope everyone else is doing well. I know the South is not doing too good as far as they haven't had really a good day. I know Florida, a friend of mine's down in Florida. He says it's just been continuous raining. Especially, with Galaxy's Edge over in Disney World opening up, it's just nothing but rain over there. But before we start, don't forget, hit that subscribe button, hit that like, smash it down, because I tell you, you are our viewers. It's very important we get that message out there. If you like the programming here on Q2Cast TV and at Man with the Show, we want everyone else to hear about it because YouTube is not going to promote it. They would rather promote corporate content than independent content, which would originally they were created for. So don't forget, hit subscribe, hit that like, share, and if you can, donate to us. Give some support. You could do that over at links are below. Streamlabs, Teespring, and many other places you could do that. So, getting started this week. Yeah, a little anxious, a little going. Hitting the comic book line this week. The failing comic book industry. We saw that because, and like I said, I hate using it, but it is true. Get woke, go broke. You start hiring like people like that are in Comicsgate. People have no experience in writing comics. You hire them to create comics because you just want to be okay with the small little amount of people that don't really care about your product. They don't care about the comics you want, but they want to interject their politics in the things you do. And that's the wrong thing. And I keep saying this, and I keep saying this for the fandom. We need to go back underground again. That's what we need to do and start over. We need to burn, scorch, and begin again. And I think we're just getting to the heart and soul of the comic book industry that is just starting to rebuild itself from beneath, from the independent forms. Just like this. Dynamite Comics celebrating its 15th anniversary, 15 years in the business. And that's a good place to be for still a fairly young company, unlike its competitors at Marvel and DC, which is right now they're just in damage control completely. What we found out is that Dynamite has been putting together a rebirth sort of one of their iconic character comics that has been around for quite some time, which is also celebrating a milestone of 50 years of this character, Vampirella. That's right, Vampirella, which is now back. Last month we had #1 hit, and it crushed records. I'm telling you, it has crushed. The numbers are out. Basically, we know that the series is being written by Christopher Priest, who has been chastised, criticized, all on freaking Twitter. He's a very good writer. Supposedly the storyline he's written is very, very good on there. And you have the artist, and I'm sorry to mispronounce this, Egon Gundez, which basically now it is, according to Diamond Comic Distributor Sales, it is in the top 10 in the sales, number 11 in units. Also, I mean, we're talking an exceeding of 130,000 units, which is Dynamite's also best-selling comic of all time, overall. Like I said, the company, it's 15 years old, still fairly new, very young in this business. And they managed to crush this. And I'll tell you why they crushed it. They created a storyline that's basically not this apolitical, C-political, D-political situation where they've thrown politics in. They didn't bend at the knee. Christopher Priest didn't bend at the knee the story as those who wanted him to online. and created a very good story. And this line is going to continue. There's going to be more issues that are going to be coming out in future time here. I would assume there's going to be probably another one very, very soon. There is word that number 2 will feature a cover by Stanley Artgerm Lau on there, and other Topps artists like J. Scott Campbell and Terry Dodson are set for future covers on there. And also, not only that, we've also basically an Indiegogo has been launched by Dynamite because they want to create a variant cover for their anniversary, a Vampirella she variant cover by Billy Tucci. It's up on Indiegogo. The covers look really, really nice on there. As you can see on the thumbnail, we put a piece of it on the thumbnail on there. And this is where every independent comic book creator is going to. They're hitting Indiegogo, and they're crushing it as far as money-wise. Ether Van Sciver, which right now he is doing that Cyber Frog, which he's also doing variant covers for it. He's raised over $70,000. $70,000. Originally, it was that he wanted to raise a lot. He had a lower total, and he just crushed it. Same thing with Richard C. Meyer, which right now, Richard C. Meyer, he's basically in court right now, Mark Waid, because what Mark Waid tried to push Jawbreaker back, that he didn't want that to get released because of his politics, and this is what's coming. Like I said, we need to go back underground again. We need to go back to the beginning to start fresh once again, because a lot of the great comic book companies are starting to die out. A lot of the distributors are going. I reported months ago, Baker and Taylor is gone out of this business. They no longer handle it unless you're a library. They're no longer distributing to the comic book stores. We're seeing comic book stores starting to die out. Like I said, and I hate to say, get woke, go broke. And this is what is going on. When you throw your politics because of these small, minded people, this little group, and I'm saying little group always because it is a little group. These are not part of the fandom. They do not like Star Trek. They do not like Star Wars. They do not like any science fiction at all. They do not like any of the comics. They don't like Marvel. They don't like DC. They don't like Batman. They don't like Hulk. They don't like any of these things that we like. This is the reason why the Phantom Menace was created. You hear that group out there. They are true fans that have gotten together because basically they're trying to save the fandom itself. They're trying their best as possible to come out and, say, hey, stop messing with our stuff. You're not part of the fans in this basis. We help build this. Hey, listen, I'm in my 50s now. I was collecting comics when I was a kid. To see where it is now, there are tears always in my eyes when I see this. When I see the destruction they have done to this. Because they just want to throw their interjections of, we have to have diversity. There's always been diversity in these comics. Always has been. There's always been stories of, racism, drug abuse, all that, which they're trying to push into there and say, this doesn't happen in the comics. We need to have more women in the comics. We need to have more gender neutrals and stuff. Let me tell you, when you start to put your apolitics, into these comics, the stories never work out. The stories die. You already see this. You already see with Captain Marvel how much of destructive force it has been in the industry that it just literally, it is not a well made comic. It has been dying. It is killing. DC is on its way out. Most people don't realize this. Warner Brothers is at the point. They're cutting measures. It's going to be a point. People say, well, we'll give it about 5-6 years. I'm giving it a year or two. It could be less. It could be very less. We could be seeing the end of DC Comics. The only thing that's going to be left of DC Comics is Warner Brothers is going to go out, just like like Marvel's doing, rehashing the old stories, throwing them into jumbo packs, and selling them in Walmarts. Is that what we want? Is that what we truly want? No, we want good stories, written by good writers, good covers. None of this freaking bullcrap of, well, we have to have this, that, and the other thing. No, write the story. And I haven't even gotten into the gender swapping, race swapping, that, you want to make Thor to a female, you want to change Poison Ivy into a black woman. I mean, some of the stuff, it's really ridiculous that they just want to change it. If you want a story to the way you want a story, write your own story. This is how this industry has come around. People written the stories that they like and they put it out. Do you know why you can't write your own story? Because you don't understand the industry. And it will never go over very well with the people that buy these books. This is what's killing the industry, is that you want to change this, that, and the other thing. And you're not even a fan. And I'm speaking to those little 1%. And if I get criticized on Twitter, if I get criticized on Facebook, I don't really care. Because that basically, you're ruining the stories that we love the best. Do you know why The Expanse is one of the best science fiction TV shows? Go take 5 minutes, go to Amazon Prime. If you've not signed up, sign up for it. Watch an episode. See how diverse the cast is. See how great the plot line, the story, the arc, the science. That is one of the biggest thing on it. The science of the story itself. It is more relative to what, science is supposed to be when you go into outer space. There are no defense shields on these ships. The bullets pass through the ships. If you haven't seen this, it's fantastic seeing this on there. And, you're dealing with gravity and zero G and movements of the ship. I mean, it's fantastically done. Not to get away from comics here, but this is, when you write a good story, this is what you get. And guys like Skyver and Priest and Meyer and the guy who's doing right now Earthworm Jim, they're all getting criticized online, but they're writing stories. They're writing stories that the fans want to see, want to read. When you get stories like that, that goes to sales. I don't know what has happened to the industry where they don't see that they're losing the people that they want. Maybe they do want to scorch and burn the industry. That it's too much of a liability for them. But that is ridiculous. They give it to the fans. You want to get rid of the companies? You want to burn them out? Sell them. Sell them to people that want to love these superheroes, these villains, these characters that we've lived with so many years. Most of these guys that have passed away, Stan Lee and the rest, they're turning in their graves because what is being done to this industry. There was a time, when you hear San Diego Comic-Con. San Diego Comic-Con wasn't with all the glitz, the glamour, and all that. It was a Comic-Con where you went to go buy comic books, meet other people with similar affinities that, we like. We like the comics. We may argue on some of the storylines. That's good because we have great conversations back and forth. Oh, who's better, Hulk or Wolverine? Or who could, have in a fight, Batman versus Superman? We've had these conversations for years. It's very, it's great that we have these conversations. But that's not what these people want. They just don't like our characters. They don't like the characters we like that have been around for so many years. They want to put pants on Wonder Woman and Supergirl. And don't think that it's not happening. Look at Supergirl's costume for this season that's coming up on television. They threw pants on her. Yes, that's right. Pants. Has nothing to do with the making look her sexy. She's always had a skirt. Same thing with Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is because of the Greek mythology. You know, when you go to Greece, they didn't wear, the women didn't wear pants. The war, when you see the histories and stuff like that, when they talk about the warrior princesses and stuff like that, they didn't wear pants. Xena didn't wear pants. Has nothing to do with me like seeing the underwear or stuff like that. It has to do with what is right. I mean, what is correct of the history. I mean, one thing that has me pissed off recently about The Witcher that's coming out, The Witcher could be such a good series. What did they do? They race swap the characters. How can you race swap characters from a period in Poland history where there weren't any blacks or Asians or anything like that in that part of the world? It's like saying you saw Asians in Africa, which that is totally wrong. Today, okay, we're all over the world, but there was a time period where the Asians were in their part of the world, the Indians were in their part of the world, the Russians were in their part of the world, the Africans were in their part of the world. The Euros were in their part of the world. But you can't say, well, we got to put people on that, so it is a diverse cast. Yes, but is it historically accurate? If you're creating a movie or creating a series on TV and you want it to be successful as independent and you put a big time actor in there, that's okay. That's fine. You want to do that. But if you want to be accurate and not really piss people off, you want to go with what is correct. And that's the same thing with the comic book industry. You want to go with what's correct. If you don't like Vampirella, don't buy it. If you don't like Lady Death, don't buy it. If you don't like Poison Ivy, don't buy it. If you don't like any DC comics, Marvel, Dynamite, any of these comics, don't buy it. No one is forcing you to buy these things. No one is forcing you to watch these shows. I know I'm going ranting a bit, and I'm getting into this today. It's been a good weekend, that's why. But understand this. This is what's going on. Manga is starting to overtake. The best-selling manga right now is My Hero Academia right now. Why is it the best-selling over here now? Is because of what's going on in the comic book industry. Now, of course, obviously, My Hero Academia will still be popular, even if the comic book industry was much more healthier. But there would be a really, truly competition between everything. So, comment below. Please tell me how you feel about this. How you feel on the anniversary of Dynamite Comics, Vampirella. How do you feel about it? Have you bought the comic? Did you like the story? Did you like what Christopher Priest wrote on there? The story that he wrote? Let me know in the comments below, or on over at minds.com, gab.com, or even on BitChute. In fact, I say go over, subscribe to BitChute as well. If you subscribe here, thank you again for subscribing to us here, CutiCast TV on YouTube. Thank you very much. We got one more story on there and one more rant today. We're in a ranting mood. Come rant with me today. So we got one more, and it's about Star Trek, and this is the one that angers me, because of some of the things that have been said recently on this, and we're going to discuss that. So thank you for tuning in to Man with the Show on CutiCast TV. We will see you later tonight.